What follows is a brief construction montage.
I am coming in, don't worry.
Let's start it like that, so we can have a thumbnail.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Hello!
Sometimes that make no sense.
It does.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Or, kind of stuck into our brain. For then to us.
80,000 impressions later.
My name is Ekaterina,
My name is Natalie.
and today we're going to speak about the description of our target audience.
Yes, we are. We decided to present this video, or this task in a video format, because we thought it shows...
It identifies like our skills, that we can use different type of cameras, that we can evaluate in more than just a written essay form. So, okay, so let's start off with the description of our target audience's age.
So, what do you think it should be?
I think our target audience should be between the age of 15 and 35. And I think this because our target audience at this stage are very mature, and they can actually understand in depth the content of our music video, and not just
Which
watch
is yet
it.
to be planned, by
Yeah,
the way.
and not just watch it for the fun of it, and actually
Just take a message out of it.
yeah, just take a message out of it and kind of get a meaning of what we're trying to represent in it.
And one very important theory that we would like to focus on is the theory of uses and gratifications by Bloom and Katz. So that theory just shows us how the audience take a message out of a media product. Doesn't matter if it's a music video or a film. And their theory states that the audience are more active than what they were back in the days, when the media was quite more active over a passive audience. And now technology has changed everything to show that audience are active and they choose what message to get from a media platform, in this case our music video.
Yeah, so the message that we show in the actual video is not going to be something that is not going to be only one message. So you have to come up with this message of the video. That's what it represents. That's what it's not. It is supposed to allow the audience to get a type of message, different to somebody else's perspective. So they make their own interpretation of it.
They've got a unique interpretation.
Okay.
So do you want to, the primary audience, so in this case our target audience, like we just mentioned, they're aged between 15 to 35.
Yeah.
So do you want to discuss more into the secondary audience?
So yeah, I mean, we're going to find this out from the questionnaire of what gender, which is the next thing. The next thing is the description of our target audience and their gender. So we believe that the gender of our target audience is mostly going to be male, because female because you said something about the
content.
scene.
The mise-en-scene elements are more appealing. We could divide our audience into female and to male. So primary come into more of the female category, and male into the
secondary audience.
Yes,
so
because
it's target and secondary.
we have in our music video, which we are planning, we have some sort of idea. Obviously, we haven't got there yet. But the idea or the theme or the genre that we've got going on, that we've just came up with, is more appealing. Some of it, the mise-en-scene elements are more appealing to
female rather than male.
And in the other part of the video that we've planned, other elements are more appealing to male. So this is why there has to be a balance into, once again, what kind of use and gratification our audience can get from our video through these mise-en-scene elements, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So our target audience are eventually probably going to turn up as female.
Yeah.
However, our secondary audience are going to be male.
Just because of the elements that we're trying to portray.
However, it can be a boyfriend and a girlfriend watching the music video, and probably it's basically like horror sequences and like films. If there is there are target audience, but there is always a secondary audience to it.
To everything, yeah.
Yeah.
So as producers put it this way, we would like to expand our audience and not just aim at females or just 15-35. We would like to have different contents and different elements to portray those contents to make it a wider choice for our audience or for viewers to decide what message they want. Thanks so
Okay.
much.
Yeah. So the next thing we are going to speak about is the description of the occupation of our target audience.
Occupation and social demographics, right?
Yeah.
So what we think is that our audience are mainly falling into the category of students, or it could be, you know, they have career, because we've kind of got that gap between 15 to 35. And if you look at it, 15 are more leaning towards the not working class, lower
Yeah,
class.
the children side of the audience, because there are children and adults. They're younger audience and they're adults.
They're- that's
Older
what it is.
audience.
Once
Yeah.
again, that's how we have to think through the content,
Yeah.
how we're going to portray it
And
to
there's
them.
and there are not only children and only audience. However, they're in between of those age groups. There are still many people that we have to cover up for.
So in this case, what we're trying to say is that that gap is divided into not working class and into working class. Of course, that comes to middle
Yeah.
class, and this is what they're mainly. That's what they are. Their occupation. They could be students, or they could be a career. They've already got, you know, a built career. This is why it's important to once again focus. I know I keep going back to these elements, but it's really important because this helps us to then, you know, say what elements we're going to include into that
Yeah,
video, how
indeed,
they're going
yeah.
to appeal to a working class, a
Mhm.
not working class, and, you know, a student or just an adult,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, so the next thing that we are also going to speak about is the hobbies of our target audience. So, as we said, the age group between 15 and 35, we're going to have different type of people watching our videos. So obviously their hobbies are going to be completely different. However, they
other, yeah.
might also link to the same thing that is going to be represented in our music video. So there is a link between adulthood and childhood, which we are going to show in our music video. It's kind of the grown children representation of. We're literally going to represent our target audience in the video.
This is
And
why it
there's-
makes it very appealing for them once again.
Yeah. And their hobbies can be like different. Their hobbies might be art and music and filming,
Filming.
and it can be many things.
Once again, depending on what their age and occupation
Yeah.
is, because some would have more free time than others. For example, an adult would probably enjoy, you know, probably going gym. That's a hobby.
Yeah.
They could enjoy going to the films, even though they won't have as much time as a student will, which again fits into the 15 to, you know, I don't know, 20, 19 category.
Yeah.
So I guess what we're trying to say is that for every, you know, for the gap that we have between our target audience and our primary audience and target and secondary audience, we're trying to say that they all have different hobbies, and some lean more to, you know, just how convenient your time is, how free your time is.
Yeah. So there is also the style of our target audience. So the styles of our target audience can also be very different.
Of course, that's of course.
Everyone has their own style. Everyone has their unique style. Some people prefer
Not to show as
different
much.
things than others, and also not to show as much detail of.
Some people, once again, as you grow older, your style starts to change. The way you dress, your hairstyle, how you're gonna present yourself to the people around you, your friends, your family. And I suppose we could say that their style as students is more casual, more, could have more crop tops. They could have more jeans. Whereas as an adult, it would be more of a suit, probably. What else do you think? Just casual clothing.
Just casual clothing, yeah.
But then at the same time, when you think back to their occupation, once again that falls into the style, because if you're a student and you're not working, you're a full-time student, you can't really afford to go and shop by yourself and change your style. You have to depend on your parents. However, if
Yeah.
you're an adult, again, the 35 category, you're independent, and once again you have a different style, And you have different way to portray yourself to your people, to people you love, people you
Yeah.
hang out with.
And this portrayal of the target audience and their own unique styles are also going to be shown in the video that
Mhm.
we're trying to come up with, because we want to make our audience see themselves in what we show and represent in that music
protagonist.
video, and the protagonist and antagonist and every single character of the music video.
Yes.
So that is what we are going to mainly focus on their style, on their hobbies, and
Their
so on,
gender, age.
and yeah, and
Of course,
so
it's
on.
important for us to, this is why we're doing this research. This is why we decided to do it in a video format, because it's much easier for us to discuss it and to go into more depth without blabbing for it.
Yeah.
And it is really important that all these things are, kind of stuck into our brain for then to us go and plan the music video and
Yeah.
try to use the users and gratification theory to apply to each person of our primary and secondary audience.
Yeah. So the next thing we can talk about is the description of our target audience and their media grouping.
Mm-hmm. So this is where I suppose it comes into the different media platforms that are already produced and are already offered to our audience, and how they could, appeal with that information kind of stuck in their brain when they're going to watch our music video. And some people have different styles. For example, some people, we could talk about films or favorite artists. They
Yeah,
have
and those exact media grouping that we're eventually going to find out what are the favorite films, what are the favorite artists, and
through the questionnaire.
and music through the questionnaire for our target audience, in order for us to be able to focus our video on what they like
And their
mostly,
interests.
just make sure that we tick that box, so their interest and their favorite films and favorite artists, every single thing has to be ticked in a box, and that we have to present this in order to get their attention and in order for them to actually really like what we actually do.
I
at the end.
personally think, I suppose we have the same opinion, is that it is really important how our media, the media overall has developed into allowing our audience to have so many choices of so many different genre films. And then you would look into, as an audience, you would look online and you would find the same genre into but into any music video. This is quite, again, users and gratification shows how they're more active.
Yeah.
And they have a bigger choice, a wider choice in what they choose to watch.
Mhm.
And we suppose with our music video, we
We-
would go for what they like.
Yeah, and we would want them to choose and watch our music video, and to be
Free
their
will.
aim to like it, and to be their aim to come up with their own interpretation of it, and to just appeal to them overall, just appeal to the audience. The last thing we're going to cover is what solutions will our music video offer to the audience's problems. So here is when we actually can apply the utopian theory.
Mm-hmm. Do you want me to go for it? Right. So utopian theory is a way of seeing that everything is so perfect, and the audience could have this kind of dream world happening in their head. And it is also important how they would then, watch the video and then take their problems and kind of relate it to either protagonist or, like you mentioned earlier, the
Yeah.
antagonist.
However, we don't want that. We don't want our audience to kind of put their mind into our video, because our video and the song that we're going to do is not going to be peaceful. It's not going to be all perfect, which is all that the utopian theory represents. So we're basically what I'm trying to say is that we're going absolutely the other direction of this theory. We're going to not only show one solution of the video, we're not going to only show our audience
One
that
message.
we're not going to teach them one lesson or show them one message that they can come across with. We're going to show them so many things that they can then make their own interpretation.
And relate to the characters. that
Yeah, and
we're gonna
relate to
portray.
the characters. Yeah, find themselves in the characters that we're going to show,
Mhm.
and just put themselves in the situations that we are going to be put on.
Like, just to add on to this point, we're gonna put some sort of solutions,
Yeah.
but then not limit them to, okay, so the audience is watching this feeling angry, therefore if we do create like a horror sequence, horror genre for a music video, they would straight away feel the anger. No, we would like them to be able to experience the different emotions and experience their own journey in a way. And it would be wonderful for them, to, instead of being angry and getting more angry from watching the video, it would be better if they could be angry but then watch the video and kind of think it through, like it's gone, they're not angry anymore.
Yeah, and we're not only going to have one antagonist, we're not going to only have one protagonist, we're going to have quite a few characters, that different type of people with different type of styles, with different type of hobbies, with different genders and different age groups, that they can relate to different characters in certain situations.
However, this is not certain because we didn't get to plan the video yet. However,
Yes.
if we could do
this
that,
happens,
So-
this is what we're planning to do.
if we do go with this idea, or we
Yeah.
could only have, for example, 2 or 3 characters, or a protagonist and antagonist only, but then try to appeal all of these different emotions again through mise-en-scene elements like low-key lighting, high-key lighting,
Yeah.
setting, location, all of these things,
Costume.
costume, that's one really important one when it comes to, talking about style. And of course, every style, every gender comes with its own unique style, and we would like for our audience to then relate to these characters, but in a very positive way rather than a negative, and then feel depressed after. Even though if this does happen, it's still their own interpretation. However, as producers, we're not really going for that negative effect on our audience.
We're going for some sort of an effect, but we want to let our audience decide for themselves
Mhm.
what message and what message they're gonna take out of the
A
music
video.
video, and what they should decide for themselves what to actually affect them.
We hope you enjoyed this brief construction montage.